After over 15 movies, we finally made it to the live-action reimagining of Disney's Mulan. So, I've been seeing a lot of negativity for this movie. A lot of the YouTube critics that I watch tend to say that this is one of, if not the worst, Disney reimaginings. There's a few that like this movie and had some good things to say, but most of them don't think this was that great. And then you have the audience reaction, and right now this movie has a 50% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It only has a 5.5 on IMDb. So a lot of audiences just don't seem to be connecting with this movie. Now, the overall critical consensus is overall positive. It's got a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not being completely trashed, but there is a lot of negativity and backlash to this movie. So does it deserve all of the hate? No, it doesn't. What I really think is the core problem with Mulan is the fact that Disney asked people to pay an extra $30 to watch this movie when it first came out. That's probably why there's so much negativity, not because it was a bad movie, but because it was an average movie that people paid way too much for. There is a lot of good stuff in this movie. It follows the same story structure as the animated film, which by now we should be expecting with these live-action Disney reimaginings. But it does tell the story in a different way, adding in some new stuff and taking out some of the old, which doesn't make the movie better, but it does make the movie a little bit fresher. There are some big problems with this movie, but none of those problems make the movie bad. None of them ruin the movie. They just hold it back from reaching its full potential. Before I get into the bad, there is one big thing that I did like about this movie. So a lot of people didn't like the way this movie handles its female empowerment messages. And while yes, they're all right, lots of the messages about girl power in this movie were very badly done. A lot of them point out the fact that this movie is so cliche with its message about being yourself, but they're kind of missing the core of this message, and it's not just about being yourself and expressing the fact that you're a girl. It's about being true to who you are, being honest with yourself and everyone else, not hiding behind something that you're not. And I thought that this movie pulled that off really well. And while we're going to talk about the problem with Mulan's character a little bit more, that is what, for me, kept her as a positive character. What really made me care about her is the fact that while I'm going to spoil what I'm going to talk about, she doesn't struggle enough with what she has to overcome. She does have an inner war with herself that she does have to overcome. And I thought that it was dealt with in a good enough way to make you care about Mulan. One of the big problems with this movie, which is more of just a missed opportunity, especially since they were trying to go for a more realistic, mature telling of the story, is the fact that they don't develop or really use the fact that she's a female adapting and hiding in a male military, where if she's caught or found out that she's going to be killed, everything is just too easy for her. It should have been developed a little bit more. There should have been more stakes. It should have had more tension, but they just don't use it. She just has everything handed to her. Every situation that could potentially be a threat to her is just handled in such a laid-back, uninteresting fashion, and it was a big missed opportunity for this movie. Continuing with the fact that the obstacles are too easy for her to overcome, this movie really doesn't know how to handle a female hero. Everything she tries to do, she accomplishes, and with very little struggle. She almost never loses, and doesn't really have to work her way up. She's already has the power of the chi in her, which even as a kid, she already has all these really amazing acrobatic martial arts kind of skills. And yes, she explores them more when she joins the military, but she's already almost this invincible fighter who doesn't really have to struggle with anything. She doesn't have to earn anything. And so that just really weighs this movie down. It doesn't make it special because she's like another Captain Marvel, just not quite on that same level of just indestructible, doing whatever she wants. But it's too easy for her. Now, this movie could have used some of its situations to make it more of a challenge for her, like I mentioned with the fact of hiding her gender. That could have been some big obstacles that she had to overcome, but it doesn't ever use it. The only time she ever fails at something is her first fight with the witch, but that really doesn't lead into anything, because after that she just succeeds with ease. Like, I do think that was a good scene and a good choice, that her first encounter with the witch, she loses, and that led to one of the best moments in the movie. But then after that, it's just back to the same old superhero Mulan, where she never fails, she's always beating everybody. That's this movie's biggest core flaw, is that when we don't see a hero fail, we don't really feel any stakes, and it's not exciting when they succeed. Overall, this movie was enjoyable, it was fun, and I liked the character of Mulan enough in this movie. I like what they did, even though there's a lot of problems with it. I did care about her, and there is enough payoff and enough good things in this movie to make it an overall enjoyable film. It's just falls into the average category. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's just in the middle, and this movie could have been a lot better, but because of some character problems, which also lead into story problems, it holds this movie back. And so I can see why a lot of people didn't like this movie. Not because it's a bad film, but because I think a lot of people were expecting a lot more, and they were expecting too much, and so they were very disappointed. I went in this movie with a lot of negativity swarming around me, so I didn't know what to expect. And I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't terrible. It was actually a decent movie. But a lot of people went in thinking that this was going to be the definitive Disney reimagining, and it's just not. It's an average, good film. I give Mulan 2020 a 71% in quality, a 79% in enjoyment, for an overall score of 75%. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts on Mulan were. If you like this video, be sure to check out more content. I have a lot of movie reviews. You can check out my playlist of the live-action Disney reimaginings in its full glory. It is all complete. Be on the lookout. I will be making a ranking of all of the live-action Disney reimaginings that I've seen. I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching.